Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Andrew Martin runs Success Networking Grantham, among other businesses. But he first realised the power of networking years ago when he was running a successful chain of floristry shops. Thank you very much for joining me on the podcast, Andrew.
Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So before we talk about networking in particular, I want to delve into your background a bit. I believe that you were a florist for 17 years. Tell me how that career came about.
Yes, I was, nearing 18 actually. So family business originally, which I got into straight out of school. Not a trained florist, so I didn't go and learn floristry or anything like that. But my interest has always been in business. Essentially took over the business, built it up. We had a total of 5 shops. I also had a wholesale business in Holland for 5 years in the flower industry. Loved it. Real passion for it.
And so did you do any networking as part of your floristry career?
I did indeed. Yes. I was a member of BNI in North London for 9 years with the flower business. So 9 years. I think that's commitment for you.
Yeah. So clearly it must have worked for you then if you stayed for 9 years.
It did, 100%. Yeah, you got to work it. It doesn't. It's not something you can just go and take from. You have to give back as well. So if you treat it as part of your business, then it makes a huge difference, which it did for me.
Yeah. So you're not in the floristry business anymore, but you do have a number of businesses. So tell me what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I sold the flowers. I think coming up to about 4 years ago now. Convenient timing, pre Brexit and COVID, so it's quite nice to be out of the retail space now. Yes, I'm involved in a few different enterprises now. As I say, my passion has always been for business, and that doesn't really matter what you're doing. The principles are the same for a lot of them. So my primary, what I call my traditional business, is in publishing. So I produce community magazines. That's in Hertfordshire. That's been running about 3 years now. So it's essentially advertising sales, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I try and bring my sort of marketing background to it to give advertisers a bit more than just pay for a space and that's it. I try and give a bit more than that. Yes, that's my main sort of focus. I also help people make money on the foreign exchange markets, which is something that's quite new for me. I've been doing that about a year now, which again is a very, very fascinating industry to be getting involved with. Networking.
Yes, in December 2019, you began running Success Networking Grantham. How did you get into that?
Yeah, so we moved up. Obviously, when I sold the flower business, we were based in North London. We moved up to Grantham, which is Lincolnshire, April 19. Trying to remember dates now. Wanted to get back into networking because, as I say, I was an avid believer in networking. I just couldn't really find anything. Certainly revolved around my schedule. Really, I was at home with the kids, so I was on school runs, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Any meetings I found were half an hour away. They were all early in the morning, so I couldn't do school runs and things like that. So I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm going to do my own. And that's what I did. So I thought, I've got some knowledge here. I'll take what I've learned over these many, many years and start my own one.
And so what kind of format did you go for?
Well, I wanted a bit of a mix, really. I didn't want to lock out. Mainly because I'm a believer in collaborations over competition, and people by people. So I didn't want to have a lockout style group. But I also believe in the power of referrals, and you've got to actively, reach out for those and encourage those rather than just let it happen. But a bit of a combination really with a sort of pay as you go group. People can become members, which gives them a few more sort of privileges. I like to say, they can do a presentation, all those sorts of bits and bobs. But quite informal. Not too much pressure. Generating business is the name of the game, and learning.
And so what kind of members do you have? What sort of businesses are they from?
Quite a range, really. I mean, when we started the face-to-face group, obviously pre-COVID, so pre-March, it was local business, a lot of sort of I say financials, like your mortgage advisors, those sorts of things, IFAs. Um, it was starting to gain some traction because obviously we were only running for maybe 3-4 months before lockdown hit. Um, Starting to get some trades in the room as well. Trades always do very, very well at networking if they can get into a room, that is. And then from there it sort of developed on, I guess, or changed, should I say?
Yeah, so things changed drastically, of course, only a few months after you started. How did you cope with that?
Well, the first thing I did was to go to other networking. I mean, I was because I couldn't physically go, and online networking wasn't really a thing pre-COVID. It was only really the physical groups you could go to. But as soon as the pandemic hit, lots of groups started online. So I started attending those. One, so I can actually be around other human beings other than my children. So that was quite nice for a change. And yeah, so I followed suit really. So I moved my group online. So we meet every other week. We were meeting weekly back in the day. That's sort of adjusted now. So as you move on and as you improve things as things goes on. But now it's a range of people from everywhere, well, not everywhere, but all over the country come on the group, which is nice.
And has your format changed at all, or have you tried to sort of stick with what you used to do in person?
I've tried to keep it as similar as I can. I mean, my sort of strap line for the group is the helping hand to grow your business. So I always wanted to bring value. So, professional networkers realize that you're not going to just go in and hunt for business from day one. You have to build relationships over time, which will eventually lead to invoice business, but it doesn't mean you can't learn a thing or two along the way. So I always wanted to bring some sort of education, whether it be in networking or business in general, and have tips and tricks from professionals that can help you then grow your business. So I've included that within the online format. So we always have a speaker, a 10-minute presentation, but it's not a sales pitch. It's not someone pitching their business.
Yeah.
It's normally providing some education in some format. But we have changed. Yeah, I've evolved it over the last year. We now do what's called a one-to-one round. So you go around the room after the people have had the chance to do their 60 seconds and actively say, okay, after the meeting, I want to meet with Joe and Jenny and what have you, just to find out a bit more about them. So that's more proactive about generating those one-to-ones and relationships afterwards. And then referrals tend to happen from that.
And have you found that your attendee base has changed at all since you've been online? Are you getting people from further afield now?
Very much a mix. I mean, it's still the case of, I invite people along. So it's people that are coming into my circle that I then invite to my group. And I do that by going, I attend other networking groups for my other businesses. And, in conversation, I say to them, do you fancy coming along to this? There's going to be people on there that you haven't met before. You never know where it could lead to. So we definitely have it's an interesting mix. As I say, online, I haven't had membership or anything like that. It's literally just, pay and show up type format. So we tend to have some regulars that are on each time. There's always a visitor or two that's coming in for the first time, which is quite nice. So it's a bit of a mix between people that know each other, albeit virtually, and newbies as well, which is quite nice because the dynamic is always a little bit different. There's some other people on there.
Yeah. And are you going to go back to face-to-face networking?
Yes. So we've now August. I'm taking off to have a bit of a refresh and a re-look at the processes. But I'm booked September. So the plan moving forward is to do both. So we're going to stick with our online format quite simply because there's people on there that I've met and I've done business with over the year that I wouldn't want to just say, oh, bye, I'm off now.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So we stick with the online format, and it's efficient as well,
Yes.
convenience. But we are, the venues are happy to having us back. So I'm gonna be bringing a monthly meeting face to face back to Grantham from September. Obviously, a lot of the attendees won't come to that because they're not anywhere near the
Yeah.
location. But I think both are important.
Yeah.
I think both are important for different reasons, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just having that balance.
So what have you seen people who attend your group getting out of the networking?
Business for a start. That's first and foremost, I guess. But yeah, you can definitely tell the relationships that have been built in the background. Through I haven't been involved with those. People have connected and formed really really deep relationships over the period of time, which may or may not have led to business. It's not all about invoicing money, is it? It's about many other things in business that make it work. And yeah, just the synergy with everyone, really. We have a good time, we have a bit of a laugh, but it's also serious. We tend to run over time because people are into conversation. I try not to have it so strict as to say, like, listen, you're on mute the entire time other than your 60 seconds. I want a bit of conversation because life's too short not to. Really.
Yeah. Now, I know as well as running your network, you also attend other people's networking meetings as well. So what do you get out of going to other people's meetings?
Well, lots of things really. I mean, for the ones I attend, I mean, I did attend quite a few, like most people last year when we were fully locked down. I've re-looked at that now, and I go to less now than I used to, quite simply because I'm busier again, like most people. So I've sort of picked and chosen the ones I really enjoy. So I go to learn, I go to meet new people, and yeah, there's some brilliant formats out there which I really really love. It's not something I necessarily bring to mind because you can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just get great value from them.
So what would be your number one networking tip for people who perhaps haven't tried it before?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Be memorable. Be memorable, especially when it comes to online and you're on Zoom or a format like that, and you're there, you're just an image on a screen with lots of other people. You need to stand out from the crowd. Obviously, in a room, that's easier by way of standing up and doing your presentation. But you've got to think about these things. You can't just wing it. You've got to plan. Got to look at who your audience is and plan a 60-second presentation that's going to get their attention.
Yeah. So what are some things that you've seen people do that have made them memorable?
Oh wow, lots and lots over years. A theme is always good, having hat day or book day, those sorts of things are always good, because it tends to make people think about it a bit more, rather than just standing up, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I sell this, I sell that. Because what you've got to remember is people don't go to networking to buy stuff.
No.
So if you're in a room trying to pitch your products to someone and they're not there to buy, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
It's about forming relationships. So it's showing value and getting that across to people and making them want to have a follow-up conversation with you, which obviously now is a lot easier because of Zoom. One-to-ones on Zoom is super simple, very quick and efficient, doesn't cost anything generally. Much more so than before, when we'd have to drive to a location, meet someone, that could be a couple of hours down the line. Much more efficient now. So yeah, it's do something to stand out, make a point.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things that I've seen people do are to deliver their pitch in rhyme or as a rap or put a silly hat on, like you say. And it does make them stand out. And you do remember those people after the meeting.
Yeah. Or full-on song on some occasion, yes.
Yeah. So if people are interested in trying your network out or contacting you about any of your other businesses, how is the best way to reach you?
Yeah, I mean, for the networking, it's successnetworking.co.uk. All the details are on there. You can book into the online meetings. You will be able to obviously book into the face-to-face meetings, which are in Grantham. To connect with me, LinkedIn is probably the easiest. I'm just down there as Andrew Martin Solutions. Got my numerous businesses on there. I'm just up for a chat, really. I'm more than happy to have a one-to-one with someone and just see where it takes, see where it goes.
Yep, sounds good. I mean, the one-to-ones is where the magic happens, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for being my guest, and best of luck with Success Networking as you go back into the room and doing things face to face again. It's a bit strange after all this time doing everything online, isn't it?
It sure is. I went to my first face-to-face last week, I think it was, which was a bit of a novelty, I must admit. Everyone was very excited to actually see people in real life. But yeah, really looking forward to it. And thank you very much for inviting me along to chat this.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.